Peace and blessings. Have you ever wondered why two people of the exact same astrological sun sign act totally different? Like, say for instance, if you're a Taurus and you know someone else who's a Taurus and you're like, I don't act anything like that person, so astrology must not be real. Well, today I have a very basic, elementary level, surface scratching explanation for you. Without delving into the houses and VEDIC SIDEREAL astrology, I'm going to explain to you how the planetary aspects affect your hour of birth and your general temperament and personality. And that explanation is, you are not just your sun sign. Sometimes people walk around thinking that they're just their sun sign. Like, say for instance, if they're born July 24, they're like, I'm a Leo, and they think that's that, but it's more to it than meets the eye. So today we are going to delve on the basic level of the planets and how they affect you and how they make you different and distinct than other people on the planet. Of course, there are different sociological factors such as what culture you grew up in, what religion, what race, the superstitions that you've taken up, the paradigms you've operated in. All of those things make you different. So say for instance, if you're in Aries on this side of the world, there could be an Aries with your exact same birth date in Indonesia that acts totally different from you. Also, your life path number, which is determined by your birth date, is a factor, as well as your personality number, which is determined by the vibrational frequency of your birth name. Also, there are Vedic astrology factors, and there are also Chinese astrology factors. A lot of people dismiss Chinese astrology, but it can make a world of a difference in determining why you are so different and distinct than other people who share your same sun sign. Say, for instance, there can be an Aries rooster. Rooster is a Chinese sign. And then there can also be an Aries rabbit, which is also a Chinese sign. And they're two totally different people, even if they have the exact same birth chart and day and hour of birth, unless the year is different. So all of these factors come into play: culture, numerology, Vedic astrology, Chinese astrology. But we're going to look at this from a Western standpoint today, without going into the houses and things like that. If you would like more information on the houses, the planetary houses, and how they work in your birth chart, and how you can find out your own natal birth chart, I will leave links in the description box, and also refer some great experts who you may want to look at and contact in order to get an accurate reading. But you must know the hour of your birth and the exact location of where you were during your birth time in order to get an accurate reading of things such as your ascendant and your moon sign and different things like that. So let's get started. Factor number one of what distinguishes you from other people that share your sun sign is we all have an ascendant sign, which is also known as the rising sign, and it's just as important as your sun sign. We also have a moon sign, which is very important as well, just as important. The three primary is your sun sign, your rising or ascendant sign, and your moon sign. And the other ones are just important as well because they play different factors and different functions to make up the person that makes you uniquely you. And not only do you have your sun, your ascendant, rising, moon, you also have your Mercury, you have Venus, you have Mars, you have Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and also something called the north nodes and south nodes of the moon. So imagine all of those hodgepodge of planetary influences that make up you and make you uniquely you. I will do a separate video about why astrology is important and why it's not spookism or anything demonic or anything like that, because the celestial bodies in the heavens affect us down here on earth. If they affect the bodies of water on earth, and our bodies are 3/4 water, they will affect us too. So we are going to delve into these different signs and what they mean and how you can find your way to have a better grasp and knowledge of self. Number one, let's talk about your ascendant, also known as the rising sign. Once again, you need to know the hour of your birth and your location of birth in order to get an accurate depiction of what your ascendant rising sign is. Your rising sign is how others see you. It's their first impression of you, and it's also your social mask. And if you were a book, your rising or ascendant sign would be the cover of that book. It's, you know how they say, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, we are usually judged by our ascendant sign. It makes a big difference. Like, say for instance, my rising or ascendant sign is Sagittarius. So a lot of people would see me as a Sagittarian type of person, even though my sun sign is Gemini. But they may see that philosophical side, that side that wants to flip back and forth, the side that can be jovial. It just depends on how they see me from that angle. But your ascendant sign is the first impression that people get when they see you walking down the street, on the first day of school, when they meet you, the first day on the job. When you're at a job interview, they are seeing your ascendant. They're not really seeing you as much. And of course, I won't delve too deeply into the sun signs because it's the most popular one. Most people know what their sun sign is. But I will say that your sun sign, if you are a book and your rising ascendant is your book cover, your sun sign would be your introduction. It would be a further explanation into who you are. And it also contains your basic personality traits and your basic outlook on life. That is the importance of your sun sign. It is just as important as the rising and ascendant. So don't think I'm discrediting your sun sign. I'm just letting you know that there is more to it than meets the eye. Because say for instance, if you are a soup and you have different ingredients, all those different ingredients make you what you are. So these different ingredients that make you what you are and distinctly who you are your planetary aspects, along with sociological and numerological information. So let's move on to the moon sign. You also have a moon sign, which is also a primary, not planet, but a primary position in your birth chart. Your moon sign is how you process emotions and inner yearnings. It is also representative of your subconscious mind. Say for instance, if someone is a Scorpio and their moon is in Capricorn, if they grew up poor and not having enough and they saw their parents struggling, that moon in Capricorn, if you know anything about Capricorns, they're going to be striving all their life to work hard so that they won't have the same childhood as they did, so that they won't have the same adulthood as they had in childhood. So they will always be striving and have that fear of not having enough, fear of poverty. So they have to get rid of that by working hard. That's how they compensate for that. Your moon sign also represents the things that you tell yourself that you grew up and you didn't like about your life, and you're like, I'm going to be better than that. Usually those are your moon signs. It's your inner strivings, inner yearnings, and it's also your inner motivation, which inspires you to go forward in your life. It can also represent your fears. It can represent things that happened during childhood, things that happened in the past. It can also represent the things that you hold to yourself. A lot of people won't get to see the aspect of your moon sign unless they know you personally and have lived with you, such as a family member, a lover, a spouse, those and your children. Those are the people that get to see your moon sign aspect. But a lot of people on the outside world, they won't see that as much because the moon is more hidden, it's more subtle in its influence.